viewers. Monuments Act, Wildlife and Forest Act. Welcome to the episode on Monuments, Wildlife and Forest Acts. Protection of natural and man-made tourism resources is of utmost vital for a country. The natural resources such as forests and wildlife showcase the unique flora and fauna of a country, and similarly man-made monuments depict the stories of the bygone era. The main objective of any of the Protection Act is to protect these resources and keep them in their original form so that the future generation should also experience them. In this episode, we will be discussing the various acts of preservation of natural and man-made resources. For the better understanding of the subject, this episode is divided into 5 parts, namely Overview of Monuments Act 1904, Ancient Monuments, Traffic in Antiquities, Wildlife Protection Act, Indian Forest Act. Let us discuss about the Act to protect the ancient monuments, that is Monuments Act. Overview of Monuments Act 1904. The Ancient Monuments Preservation Act was enacted in the year 1904. This act is an act to provide for the preservation of ancient monuments and objects of archaeological, historical or artistic interest. Before we go further, let us learn some important definitions in the act. Ancient monument means any structure, erection or monument or any mutulus or place of interment or any cave, rock sculpture, inscription or monolith which is of historical, archaeological or artistic interest or any remains thereof, and includes the site of an ancient monument, the portion of land adjoining the site of an ancient monument. Antiquities include any movable object which the central government, by reason of their historical or archaeological associations, may think it necessary to protect against injury, removal or dispersion. Commissioner includes any officer authorized by the central government to perform the duties of a commissioner under this act. Maintain and maintenance include the fencing covering in, repairing, restoring and cleansing of a protected monument, and the doing of any act which may be necessary for the purpose of maintaining a protected monument or of securing convenient access thereto. Owner includes a joint owner invested with powers of management on behalf of himself and other joint owners, and any manager or trustee exercising powers of management over an ancient monument, and the successor in title of any such owner and the successor in office of any such manager or trustee. Protected monuments. The central government may, by notification in the official gazette, declare an ancient monument to be a protected monument within the meaning of this act. Ancient monuments. Acquisition of rights in or guardianship of an ancient monument. The collector, with the sanction of the one central government, may purchase or take a lease of any protected monument. The collector, with the like sanction, may accept a gift or bequest of any protected monument. The owner of any protected monument may, by written instrument, constitute the commissioner the guardian of the monument, and the commissioner may, with the sanction of the central government, accept such guardianship. When the commissioner has accepted the guardianship of a monument under subsection 3, the owner shall, except as expressly provided in this act, have the same estate, right, title and interest in and to the monument as if the Commissioner had not been constituted guardian thereof. When the Commissioner has accepted the guardianship of a monument under subsection 3, the provisions of this Act relating to agreements executed under section 5 shall apply to the written instrument executed under the said subsection. When a protected monument is without an owner, the Commissioner may assume the guardianship of the monument. Preservation of ancient monument by agreement. The collector may, with the previous sanction of the central government, propose to the owner to enter into an agreement with the central government for the preservation of any protected monument in his district. An agreement under this section may provide for the matters such as the maintenance of the monument, the custody of the monument and the duties of any person who may be employed to watch it, restriction of the owner's right to destroy, remove, alter or deface the monument or to build on or near the site of the monument. The facilities of access to be permitted to the public or to any portion of the public and to persons deputed by the owner or the collector to inspect or maintain the monument. The payment of any expenses incurred by the owner or by the central government in the connection with the preservation of the monument. Enforcement of agreement. If the collector apprehends that the owner or occupier of a monument intends to destroy, remove, alter, deface or imperil the monument or to build on or near the site thereof in contravention of the terms of an agreement for its preservation under section 5, the collector may make an order prohibiting any such contravention of the agreement. If an owner or other person who is bound by an agreement for the preservation or maintenance of a monument under section 5 refuses to do any act which in the opinion of the collector necessary to such preservation or maintenance or neglects to do any such act within such reasonable time as may be fixed by the collector may authorize any person to do any such act and the expense of doing any such act or such portion of the expense as the owner may be liable to pay under the agreement may be recovered from the owner as if it were in arrears of land revenue. A person aggrieved by an order made under this section may appeal to the Commissioner, who may cancel or modify it and whose decision shall be final. Compulsory purchase of ancient monument. If the central government apprehends that a protected monument is in danger of being destroyed, injured or allowed to fall into decay, the central government may direct the provincial government to acquire it under the provisions of the Land Acquisition Act 1894, 1st of 1894, as if the preservation of a protected monument were a public purpose within the meaning of that act. The powers of compulsory purchase conferred by subsection 1 shall not be exercised in the case of any monument which or any part of which is periodically used for religious observances, or any monument which is the subject of a subsisting agreement executed under section 5. In any case other than the cases referred to in subsection 2, the said powers of compulsory purchase shall not be exercised unless the owner or other person competent to enter into an agreement under section 5 has failed within such reasonable period as the collector may fix in this behalf to enter into an agreement proposed to him under the said section, or has terminated or given notice of his intention to terminate such an agreement. Maintenance of certain protected monuments. The Commissioner shall maintain every monument in respect of which the government has acquired any of the rights mentioned in section 4 or which the government has acquired under section 10. When the Commissioner has accepted the guardianship of a monument under section 4, he shall for the purpose of maintaining such monument have access to the monument at all reasonable times by himself and by his agents, subordinates and workmen for the purpose of inspecting the monument and for the purpose of bringing such materials and doing such acts as may be considered necessary or desirable for the maintenance thereof. Penalties. Any person other than the owner who destroys, removes, injures, alters, defaces or imperils a protected monument, and any owner who destroys, removes, injures, alters, defaces or imperils a monument maintained by the central government under this act or in respect of which an agreement has been executed under section 5, and any owner or occupier who contravenes an order made under section 7 subsection 1 shall be punishable with fine which may extend to 5,000 rupees or with imprisonment which may extend to 3 months or with both. Traffic in antiquities. Power to central government to control traffic in antiquities. If the central government apprehends the antiquities are being sold or removed to the detriment of India or of any neighbouring country, it may by notification in the official gazette prohibit or restrict the bringing or taking by sea or by land of any antiquities or class of antiquities described in the notification into or out of the provinces or any specified part of the provinces. Any person who brings or takes or attempts to bring or take any such antiquities into or out of the provinces or any part of the provinces in contravention of a notification issued under subsection 1 shall be punishable with fine which may extend to 500 rupees. Antiquities in respect of which an offence referred to be in subsection 2 has been committed shall be liable to confiscation. An officer of customs or an officer of police of a grade not lower than sub-inspector duly empowered by the central government in this behalf may search any vessel, cart or other means of conveyance and may open any baggage or package of goods if he has reason to believe that goods in respect of which an offence has been committed under subsection 2 are contained therein. A person who complains that the power of search mentioned in subsection 4 has been vexatious or improperly excised may address his complaint to the central government, and the central government shall pass such order and may award such compensation if any has appears to be just. Wildlife Protection Act. The Wildlife Protection Act came into force from 1972 to provide for the protection of wild animals, birds and plants and for matters connected therewith. Definitions. In this act, unless the context otherwise requires, animal includes amphibians, birds, mammals and reptiles and their young, and also includes in the cases of birds and reptiles their eggs. Animal article means an article made from any captive animal or wild animal other than vermin and includes an article or object in which the whole or any part of such animal. Weapon includes ammunition, bows and arrows, explosives, firearms, hooks, knives, nets, poisons, snares, traps and any instrument or apparatus capable of decoying, destroying, injuring or killing an animal. Wild animal means any animal found wild in nature and includes any animal specified in Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 4 or Schedule 5 wherever found. Wildlife includes any animals, bees, butterflies, crustacean, fish and moths and aquatic or land vegetation which forms part of any habitat. Prevention and detection of offences. Power of entry, search, arrest and detention. Notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force, the director or any other authorized by him in this behalf or the chief wildlife warden or the authorized officer or any forest officer or any police officer not below the rank of a sub-inspector may, if he has reasonable grounds for believing that any person has committed an offence against this act, require any such person to produce for inspection any captive animal, wild animal, animal article, meat, trophy, uncured trophy or any specified plant or part or derivative thereof in his control, custody or possession or any license, permit or any other document granted to him or required to be kept by him under the provision of this act. Stop any vehicle or vessel in order to conduct search or inquiry or enter upon and search any premises, land, vehicle or vessel in the occupation of such person and open and search any baggage or other things in his possession. Seize any captive animal, wild animal, animal article, meat, trophy or uncured trophy or any specified plant or part or derivative thereof in respect of which an offence against this act appears to have been committed in the possession of any person together with any trap, tool, vehicle, vessel or weapon used for committing any such offence, and unless he is satisfied that such person will appear and answer any charge which may be preferred against him, arrest him without warrant and detain him. Provided that where a fisherman residing within 10 kilometers of a sanctuary or national park inadvertently enters on a boat not used for commercial fishing in the territorial waters in that sanctuary or national park, a fishing tackle or net, no such boat shall not be seized. Penalties. Any person who contravenes any provisions of this act except Chapter 5A and Section 38J or any rule or order made thereunder or who commits a breach of any of the condition of any license or permit granted under this act shall be guilty of an offence against this act and shall on conviction be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years or with fine which may extend to 25,000 rupees or with both, provided that where the offence committed is in relation to any animal specified in Schedule 1 or Part 2 of Schedule 2 or meat of any such animal, animal article, trophy or uncurled trophy derived from such animal or where offence relates to hunting in ox, altering the boundaries of a sanctuary or a national park, such offence shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 1 year but may extend to 6 years, and also with fine which shall not be less than 5,000 rupees. Provided further that in the case of a second or subsequent offence of the nature mentioned in this subsection, the term or imprisonment may extend to 6 years and shall not be less than 2 years, and the amount of fine shall not be less than 10,000 rupees. Indian Forest Act. The Indian Forest Act was enacted to consolidate the law relating to forest, the transit of forest produce and the duty leviable on timber and other forest produce. The law extends to the whole of India and there are various definitions included in this act. Let us learn about them. Cattle. Cattle includes elephants, camels, buffaloes, horses, mares, pigs, rams, sheep, lamb, goat, etc. Forest officer. Any person whom the state government has given the power to carry out all or any of the purposes of this act. Forest produce. Forest produce includes timber, charcoal, resin, natural varnish, trees, plants and leaves, wild animals, skins, tusk, horns, bones, silk, cocoons, honey, wax, surface soil, rock, minerals, etc. Reserve forest. A forest which the state government feel the necessity to be reserved from a date fixed by the notification shall be called as reserved forest. Acts prohibited in reserved forest. The acts which are prohibited in the acts are venture into the forest either on foot or on private vehicle without the prior written permission from the concerned forest officer, clearing the forest area for cultivation purpose or other purposes, setting of fire to a reserve forest or kindles and leaves any fire burning in such manner as to endanger such forest, trespassing or pastures domestic cattle, hunting, trapping of wild animals, plucking of endangered plant species and any other activity which may disturb or endanger the wildlife in the reserve forest. Protected forest. Protected forests refer to those forests those are declared by the state government and the area is not included in the reserve forest but the government has the proprietary rights. Acts prohibited in protected forests. The acts which are prohibited in the protected forest are similar as in the case of reserve forest. Penalties. The penalties may be levied on the persons contravening the acts which include seizure of the movable property such as the motor vehicles, boats, cars, etc. Seizure of the immovable property such as resort, buildings. A penalty and or an imprisonment ranging from 6 months to 3 years for such contravention depending on the seriousness of the offence. To sum up, in this episode we have discussed the various aspects of the Monument Act, Wildlife Act and Forest Act. We also have come across various definitions given in the Act to make the terms in the Act more clear and unambiguous so that the enforceability will be easily understandable by all. All these acts aiming at protecting the uniqueness of the natural and man-made attraction for the benefit of future generation.